solver. And rather than reading the directions, which would come last for me, I'm trying to figure things out on my own. And I did. And so I'm posting this video for that purpose alone. And I've never had a problem with it. I like DeWalt saws. You know, almost every tile setter has one or has had one before. Yesterday, just out of the blue, I don't know why. This is, you have an overload reset switch, if you will. When you plug this in, you should have a red light, and that red light should be constant. And so there is a reset button. If for whatever reason you're plugged into an outlet and you're overloading that outlet, or the outlet's overloaded because it's this saw and some other things running on it, or you know, whatever, this reset button will get you good to go again. You can, there's actually a test button too, you can test it. And what this says, this label on here says, hey, if this, in fact it even says it on the description here. It says if your reset button pops, do not use this saw. Yada yada yada. For use, do not use if above test fails. So if you test this and it pops off again, do not use the saw, because inherently there's another problem. I have a friend of mine who a couple years ago, he could not reset this button. Every time he pushed it, it would pop again. So the tile saw was useless at that point, and it was frustrating for him. So what he did is he just cut off the wire, both here and here, and just tied the two wires together and excluded the whole reset thing to begin with. Which I'm not about. You know, there is actually a reason that this is here, and it's not for me to say. I'm not the manufacturer as to whether or not it should be in play or not. That was an option for me yesterday when I started having the same issue. I was pushing the button and then it would pop again. I was pushing the button. Every time I turned on the saw, it would pop. The button would pop and turn off the saw. And no matter what I did, every time I pushed the button, it would pop again. I'm like, well, there's something going on here. Must be the GFI in this bathroom. So I just bypassed the GFI altogether. I plugged this into an extension cord and I ran it into the bedroom where I know it's not a GFI, so I can't overload it. And it was doing it again. And I used another outlet and it still did. So I thought, well, man, I must have got something wet. Maybe this is wet and, you know, it's malfunctioning. I was going to put a hairdryer on it. Maybe the motor is wet, but the motor is encapsulated. You know, it's meant to be in a wet area already. And I don't know, I was just scratching my bald head trying to figure out what is the problem. So to get through a couple of cuts, I had my tile sitting on the table and I was running it through and I kept on pushing the button. And as fast as I could push the button, it was going out again. But just to get the job through, you know, because then I would have to go home and get my backup saw, which I didn't want to do. So it was very frustrating, and I wasn't sure what the problem was, because this is probably rated at 10 or 15 amps, and you know, then I have the pump on here, which is another 5 amps or whatever. I just felt like maybe there was an overload going on. So what I actually did, this is my pump. So I unplugged my pump and I ran it directly into the outlet over there, so that my water would run continuously. It actually sounded like a Chinese garden Zen thing going on, because even when I wasn't using the saw, the pump was running and pumping out water, which is okay. And it seemed to work. It seemed like, you know, okay, I figured it out. You know, just I'm overloaded on here. And so the saw ran separately from the pump, which, yeah, I thought it was working. And it wasn't working. It only worked for a short time. Then it dawned on me. I have a lot of stuff that I set on the saw, usually over here, you know, my sponges to wipe the table with and all that stuff. Typically will set up there. I got a couple of them, and they'll just sit up there. I'll put, you know, a square up there or something like that. Anywhere I can set something. I even have earplugs that usually actually go up there too. You know, I'll just set them up there for the time being. I think you know what I'm getting at already. So these were setting up there yesterday, and they were wet. Guess what that is? That's, for lack of a better term, your exhaust. This is the cooling port. So when your motor is running and it's heating up, it expels all the heat through this little duct area. And my sponges were right in the way. And they weren't dry, they were wet. So that literally blocked the exhaust from coming out. As soon as I removed the sponges, the saw with the pump plugged in worked perfectly. Ta-da! I feel so stupid sometimes. And then other times I feel very smart because I figured that out on my own. So if anybody out there is having a problem with their GFI, their inline GFI, popping like that, make sure your port isn't clogged. Seems really, really simple to some people, and then other people are like, voila, just like I thought, voila, I figured it out. So the instruction book never got opened. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, then subscribe. Hit that button and subscribe. I make nothing off of YouTube, so please be a Patreon member. I'm going to post a link down below to my Patreon account, and you can donate $1, $5, $10, $20 a month. Just pledge that on a monthly basis. That will help me produce more videos and content so that you can watch and learn from my channel. And donate at least $50 if you're going to call. If you're going to call for advice, donate to my PayPal, please. Donate first, and then feel free to call me or email me for advice. Otherwise, business calls only, please.